They believe in being on the phone, right? And care management and case management and outreach are really the glue that hold together a program, and often get the least attention in training. Am I right? I mean, doctors get their training and nurses and so on, but in the collaborative care model that we started from as a starting point, the care management role was originally designed for someone like a nurse or a social worker in a primary care setting, which is already a somewhat specialized, more clinical role, right? And that person connected the clinical need of the patient to the doctor and did follow up and so forth. And part of what we've learned through our work in the community and recently in our work in supporting recovery in New Orleans and other areas of the Gulf states is that there are many different kinds of people that play that kind of supporting and linkage role in community organizations. They may not have the training of a nurse or the clinical training of a nurse or a social worker, or they may, but they're the ones with the job. They're in the community, they are the ones with the hand next to the patient. So we did a couple of things with the evidence-based approach to care management. First of all, we tried to simplify it and to make certain parts optional that are more clinical, while preserving the essential parts of it. And this team worked with me on taking our toolkit and doing that job, and also we did that with community input. And we also realized as we were doing that the education pieces of it, the videos, the book, were more generally used. They could be used by a depressed person themselves or a lay person or any kind of community leader. So this is going to be taking you through a care management approach. Some of it may apply to you, some of it may not apply to you, but you will be thinking about which of these resources, which of these connecting functions might be mine. And we are aware that the full model will apply to some of you, the full model will not apply to some of you. And part of the job from here, because if you're actually if you end up being in an agency in the study, we will support your agency in thinking about how to do the adaptation to you, right? That's part of what the study is about. If you get into the community engagement arm of the study, the more intensive intervention, we will actually make available to you a new, much more intensive outreach model that we've developed in our New Orleans work. Obviously, it needs some modification for Los Angeles, but it really takes to full development the layperson's approach to supporting someone with depression in the community. The reason it's not on both sides of the table of both interventions is it's new. It's not evidence-based. We don't have outcomes, so it's more experimental. But today is not about that piece. Today is about what is evidence-based, the care management approach, the education materials, and how those alone may be applicable to any of you. This is a phenomenal team. They have a very innovative and I think entertaining way of engaging you in that training to expose you to the model, and then there'll be some Q&A type discussion about the fit. Is that, if I got it right? Mm-hmm. So I'm not going to be, they're going to be doing the training. I just wanted to set the stage a little bit. So thanks for being here. I hope you enjoy it, and make sure there's time at the end to get the evaluation forms done, right? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Ken. How many in the group are care managers right now? Just a raise of hands. Case managers. Case managers, case coordinators. Great.
Outreach.
Let's give a round of applause. We really do feel that you are the glue that holds things together, and your patients really depend on you. And we tried to give you some tools to make your job easier, to make you more efficient, to save you time, to make it more enjoyable, and to help your clients. So we have a skit that we're going to present, and we're going to break it up into parts, and we're going to tell you who you are. To begin again, my name is Belle Griffin. My background is in nursing and public health, and I'm going to be the narrator today. And this is Craig Landry. Craig, do you want to just introduce yourself and tell them your role.
My name is Craig Landry, and I'm a social worker, and I'll be playing a caseworker's role today.
And my name is Felica Jones, and I have a loud projector voice. And I'm director of program, and I'm a community-based organization, and SPA 6, and we did this skit for our other CPIC conference, so we're doing it again for you. And so today I'm going to be your client, your typical client that walks, Janet, that walks through your door. Or some of you have had encounters with that. So I want you to think about your particular clients, because we're going to get some feedback from you as we go along.
We're going to have about 4 scenes. And at one point, we're going to even ask for some volunteers to help with one of our exercises. So everyone has a packet of information, right? Can you leaf forward and find the area where it says script for initial telephone call? You didn't get a packet? You have extra packets? So as Ken said, these materials are something that you might be able to use right now, regardless of whether your agency is participating in the study. You might be able to start using them on Monday. If you're going to participate, if your agency is participating, you're probably going to get extra training on these materials, and they might be tailored specifically for your setting. So kind of keep that in mind as we're going through the forms. And also for our skit, we're going to function under the assumption that Janet and Craig are participating, and she has some resources available to her. She has a place where she can go to receive treatment. So we'll just eliminate that obstacle for the purposes of the skit. And we're going to start with, has everyone found the section in their forms that says script for initial telephone call? Page 5. This is not part of our script, but I didn't want to just pass it by. A lot of times you see scripts and you go, oh my gosh, these aren't my words. Like this, right? Scripts are important to get the key components. And the key component in this script is when you call somebody, nowadays with cell phones, most people have a cell phone. That's the phone number you usually have. You don't really know where they're going to be standing when you call them. They could be at the grocery store, they could be at a doctor's appointment, they could be at work. So it's always really important just to remember certain things when you're calling and be polite and say, is this a good time for you to talk? And if they say no, okay, great. When can I call you back? So that you can have a time to talk to them in private. That's just a simple thing. And rapport starts on the very first phone call, right? And people really want to be listened to. And so it starts with something so simple as just that first phone call. Is this okay? Okay, so now you've got a good time when you can talk to them. Explain the purpose of the call. And ask them questions. Do they have any questions? And listen to what they're saying. People want to be heard, right? Thank them. Make sure you give them your phone number in case they think of a question after you've hung up. Those are sort of the core components of this script. And you might want to change some of the wording so it sounds more natural to you, but those are the essential elements that are important in this initial phone call. And then keep track of stuff. Have you guys ever fell prey to the yellow sticky syndrome? You're writing, like, write down their name, their phone number, or sometimes, like, I do this all the time, I write down the phone number and I think I'm going to remember the name, as though this yellow sticky has really some unique quality to it. And then I come up with the yellow sticky with the phone number and I think, should I call it and see who answers? So get rid of the yellow stickies and use a sheet like this. And it has their name on it. It has their phone number. It has the best time to reach them. You can jot down their work schedule, whatever. Just simple things like that will help you in the long run. And then maybe you're having trouble getting a hold of them, you're leaving messages, or you have a brief conversation. These little lines here are for you to keep track of that. And that gets back to listening. Maybe you started out the conversation and you needed to follow up. The next time you call back, you can go, hey, Janet, we talked last week and we talked about blah, 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 and you were going to find out blah, blah, blah. Did you find anything out? And right away, Janet knows that you listened to her instead of calling up her and going, out of sight, out of mind. You can't even remember what you guys talked about, and you're starting the whole process over again. So this is really there to help you just track conversations. It's going to save you time. It's going to save you memory space, right? Because you think something is so clear, and so I'll never forget this. This is so clear to me. And then next week, you go, well, what did we talk about? You know, what was I supposed to do? Who was supposed to do something, right? Mm-hmm. So that's the purpose of this page. And then if you run out of space, there's a second page that says telephone call notes, just an extension. Any questions about that? Any comments? Or we want you to say, I can't use this, or I can use this. We really want to hear that from you. So don't feel like you're going to hurt our feelings if you like or don't like something about the forms. Any comments? Yes.
When you say there's a callback number, you give them the callback number?
Oh, you give, yeah.
So
exactly.
suppose you're not in a place where you can write down all that information. You got any hints on that?
Okay, so you've given them your phone
In other
number.
words, you call and they say, no, this is not a good time. Well, here's my number.
Yes.
Call me back. So when they call you back, you're not sitting there with all these papers in front of you.
Exactly.
You're on the way
You're
somewhere.
in the doctor's office.
Yeah.
Same thing is true. You can say, you know what, thank you. It's just basic, simple, polite. Thank you so much for calling. I really appreciate it. Is it possible for us to talk later? I'm not at a point where I can talk to you, or I don't have materials with you. Can we set a time? Okay, great. So that you don't just feel like they don't feel discounted. You really want to be grateful they called you back. Okay, I think we're ready for some skit. Any other comments about those first three forms? Tom.
If we have success in following back to people like that, a lot of
Craig,
times
you want
I
to speak
think
to
there'd
that?
be a question of successfully making the connections with people. If you have them once, you might not want to let go of them.
Right.
Call them back an hour later and then not be able to reach them.
Right, Craig, do you want to comment?
Well,
Oh, the question. Let's just repeat the question.
Hmm?
Repeat the
We'd
question.
like to repeat the question so that for the purpose of the tape, so that.
okay, could you repeat the question?
So the question is just, do you have any qualms about letting go of a person when you have them on the phone, even if it's not a good time for you to talk, but because you're worried that you might have trouble connecting with them in an hour or a day, or something might happen to them in the interim, or issues like that. Do you have experience, or do you have pretty good success with that when you try to reconnect?
I think
So the question is, do you have any qualms about not talking to the person when you have them on the phone, and do you have any success in reconnecting with them? The short answer to that is it really, based on your experience in your conversation with the patient or the client, well, maybe I need to have this conversation or get a contact number or take a few minutes. I usually always try to carry a piece of paper with me so I can jot things down. And it's in an individual sort of judgment call as to whether or not you think you can find or reach out to this person. And we all know that we have clients who may not have a phone. They're at a phone for the moment. So we have to make a judgment as to whether or not we can fill in.
I'd like to add, because I think that's a real pertinent question, and it was relating to the forms. The possibility to connect it is to do, like I say, make a personal call at that time, but then take the notes and then if it be possible to go make sure that you follow through with the documentation on this particular form so that you can always have a tracking of how your interaction with that client is, because then over a period of time we want to make sure that they're staying consistently involved and engaged in this process. But to get back to your question, sometimes the form may not be available to you. A lot of the forms that we have, which you received on your USB, cord, so sometimes you may be able to get to a computer and plug it up and pull it up like that. They're not going to always be like handheld pieces of paper, so that might be another option, is you keep a little USB with you down the line and take your notes from your paper and then put it and transfer it that way. That might be another solution to a problem like that.
Okay. Yes.
Okay, I just want to add that, I think this is upgrade the telephone log, because I work at DMH and we're getting back to the old-fashioned telephone log because there's so many messages on the voicemail all the time.
Yeah.
There's so many emails coming through. And sometimes you just need a concrete piece of paper that you can find in a binder to, go back and say, okay, this is where I was. Also, I was going to say one thing that's happening more recently. Here, I'll hold it. With us, well, I'm the service area 4 navigator for this spa. And so we have a high volume of really crucial, critical cases that it's very difficult to keep up with individuals because they don't have access to communication. And so providers may be calling us and we're trying to, find that person. And one thing that is helping now is that we give people, when they call, we say, okay, I'm in a meeting right now, but if you can contact someone by coming into the office, which is something that we didn't have available before, or if you can talk to this person in my absence and leave a detailed message and maybe a place where you are, we can send someone out to come get you. And that's helpful also.
That's great.
Not come get you, but meet with you.
Great.
I just have a quick comment on the call record, which I think is great. Well, we use these all the time, and one thing that I found really useful is to have the day and the time, not just the date. So if I'm talking to someone, oh yeah, I talked to you on August 22nd, as opposed to last Tuesday afternoon around 4 o'clock. And also it helps me, have I tried this person in the morning? Have I tried this person on the weekend?
Yeah.
Having those days and times is very helpful.
Exactly. And it's like, okay, I keep calling in the morning, I never get them. Well, maybe I should call in the afternoon.
Exactly,
So.
yeah.
Good point. We'll add that to the form. Okay. Ready for scene 1? Mm-hmm. All right. Scene 1. Take.
So I just sat down. Just to set the scene, I'm Janet, and I just sat down to meet with my case manager.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. How are you? I'm fine.
Good. Welcome. What brings you here?
I was having some difficulty, sleeping. I had headaches, stuff like that. My concentration. I haven't been able to concentrate a lot lately, and so I was referred over. Maybe I, may have some problems.
Okay.
I have been, I started having drinks at night just to get to sleep. Just like about 4 or 5 drinks at night just to get to sleep at night.
Is that a change from how much you used to drink?
Yeah, well, I just can't sleep. I can't sleep. I can't concentrate. I have these thoughts all the time. Just emotionally, I have emotional outbursts. I'm just crying out for no reasons. No reason at all. I'm just sitting at work, standing. I work and I'm in front of people all the time, and all of a sudden I just start crying. I can't stop.
Do you feel that you're pretty overwhelmed?
Yeah.
How's your appetite?
Or I can't tell. I've gained 50 pounds. In 6 months.
You mentioned that you think all the time. What are you thinking about?
Just all these thoughts. I'm just overwhelmed. I can't concentrate. I just can't concentrate. I got bills. I got the kids. I got job. I got. I'm always thinking. It's always thinking. I don't have any no time. Just I'm always. Something's always on my mind all the time, and I feel just. I can't breathe. Like right now, I'm just like overwhelmed. I just can't. You're upsetting me.
I'm sorry. Don't be upset. Just take a moment. What can we do to help you?
I came to get some help. If I knew what to do, I wouldn't have came to you. I want you to help me. Please help me.
I'm going to help you.
Okay.
Take a minute. Tell me, what do you do for fun?
I don't do anything for fun. Not anymore.
What did you used to do? What kind of things did you used to enjoy?
I used to like to go swimming.
When's the last time you've been swimming?
About 7, 8 months ago.
Why'd you stop?
Because I was getting overwhelmed with stuff that I have to do all the time. I can never find any time for myself.
How old are your babies?
2, 4, and 6.
That's a handful.
Yeah.
Do you have any help at home?
And my husband, but he's no help. And I work a lot. I work in a grocery store. So sometimes I'm on call. You know, I work different times. My schedules fluctuate. I got the kids to get to school and they have to get aftercare and all this stuff. And I'm on the bus and the car broke down and I don't have, you know, transportation all the time. And, you know, and my husband's not really supportive. Well, he says he is, but he's physically not there doing anything.
Okay. Are you guys able to talk amongst one another?
Yeah, I tell him what he needs to do and he doesn't do it.
A lot of the things that you've been telling me certainly seems that you may be suffering from depression. Has anyone ever talked to you about that before?
Yeah, but I don't really think I'm depressed. I'm not.
Okay.
But somebody talked to me. They told me that you might. They told me something about depression, but I know that I've been upset a lot.
You feel stressed a lot, right?
Yeah, I wouldn't be able to define. I know I just feel overwhelmed,
Okay.
stressed.
What I'd like to do is we go over a questionnaire.
Okay.
It's called the PHQ-9, and it's a screener for depression. It doesn't say that you're actually depressed. It doesn't give you a diagnosis, but it gives us that you may be suffering, you know, from depression.
Well, I want to know what's wrong because I wasn't like this before. I mean, my job would tell you I was really good on my job all the time. I wasn't late, and I was always, you know, I was employee of the month and stuff. Now, you know, I'm like on probation, like almost to lose my job, and I can't stop it. So I want to find out what's wrong.
What is your drink of choice?
Cognac.
So why don't we do this questionnaire together, okay? In the last 2 weeks, have you been bothered by any of the following? Okay? Little interest and pleasure of doing things. Would you say not at all, several days, more than half the days, or nearly every day?
Every day.
Every day.
Every day. So, but I don't feel like doing nothing. I don't feel like getting out of bed.
Okay. In the last 2 weeks, have you been feeling down, depressed, or hopeless?
Yes.
Would you say not at all, several days, more than half the days, or nearly every day?
Well, most of the days, almost every day.
Okay. You've already said that you feel tired, you have little energy.
I'm always tired. I can't sleep. I'm not sleeping. My sleep is broke up, so I'm always feeling exhausted. I don't sleep a full night, so I'm always dragging every day.
So you're able to go to sleep, but you get up?
No, I don't get all of it physically. I just can't. I wake up like I'm supposed to have been doing something, and so then by the time I go back to sleep, it's almost time to get up again. And so then when I'm at work or someone, I'm nodding off, so I'm like, because I'm not getting good sleep. I'm not getting good sleep at all, not at all.
And you said that's nearly every day.
Yeah, pretty much every day.
You said you've been overeating.
Yes.
Me too.
You might not be depressed, huh? Are you depressed?
You say that every day? Or half the days?
What do you mean? Do I say what every day?
That you've been overeating.
No, not every day, I guess. I didn't even see it coming, really. I just know that I was eating probably the wrong times, and then I got disgusted because I was gaining weight and I couldn't stop it. And so I think maybe the times I was eating when I was in the middle of the night, when I would wake up and I couldn't go back to sleep, I was eating at the middle of the night, and I was eating snacks or something sweet or something in the middle of the night, or like 5 o'clock in the morning, something like that, and then going back to sleep. So maybe that's why the weight is coming on. I don't know.
In the past 2 weeks, have you been feeling bad about yourself or feeling that you're a failure?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to ask you, is that nearly every day, half the days, several days? Bear with me now.
No, I know you gotta ask the question. I'm just thinking if it's all the time. I mean, I feel like it a lot, but there's some good days. I have some good days. Some days are not as bad as other days.
Okay.
But I would say, what was the middle one? What was that middle one, did you say?
So more than half the days? Or would you say several days?
I would say several. I'm going to say several days.
Okay. Now, what makes a good day different than a bad day?
When I can get some sleep at night, I can get some sleep, and I feel like I accomplished something in the day, then I feel a little bit better that when I can see the end of the light or something, like I did something. But most of the days I don't feel like I accomplished. I jump from even cleaning the house. I'll start in the living room, and I'll take something from the living room, and I'll take it to the bedroom, and then I'll start in the bedroom, and I'll go to the kitchen, and I'll go from the kitchen to and then it seems like I never get nothing done in it. Before I know it, the kids and dirty the house back up. It's dirty again, and then I feel like I didn't do nothing. So that's how my day goes.
That's how your day goes. You mentioned that you're having trouble concentrating over the past 2 weeks. Did you say several days, half the day, or every day?
Oh, probably every day.
Every day. Has anybody told you that you've been speaking slowly? Have you noticed that?
Yeah, they said, my family said, I'm talking on the phone, they said my voice sounds slurred or dragging. And I was like, I didn't see that, but then I figured, well, they called me too late or they called me too early or something, but it was sometimes it wasn't, I'm just tired.
Okay. Several days, nearly every day?
Some of the times.
Okay. Now I'm going to ask you a question. You ever have thoughts that you'd be better off dead?
Yeah.
Okay. Did you just didn't want to wake up?
Yes.
Do you ever think about killing yourself? Okay. Have you ever tried to hurt yourself before?
Yes.
Okay. What did you do?
I cut my wrist.
How long ago was that?
About 5 years ago.
Did you have to go to the hospital? Did you have to go to the hospital?
Yes.
Some tissue?
You don't have no tissue?
I told him I wasn't going to be that hard on him this time. But okay, go ahead.
You're good.
Let me see your wrist. Okay. All right. Well, you scored a 24.
What's that mean?
It indicates that maybe you're suffering from depression. And we need to have you ever talked to your doctor about how you're feeling?
My doctor doesn't pay attention to it. I mean, they come in the room, they go out the room, and I try to ask questions, and they look at me like I'm stupid. So I feel like I'm stupid when I go to the doctor. So I have to slow them down all the time even when I take the kids to the doctor. And they act like, because I'm not talking, they talking over, I don't understand nothing. They say I was to ask somebody else. I don't understand that. So why am I asking them something else? And he tell me what I came to the doctor for. That's what they asked me about.
That's pretty frustrating.
Yes, it's very frustrating.
Have you ever thought about talking to a doctor who will listen to you and talk to you? Maybe talking to a psychiatrist?
I thought about it before, but I really wasn't really medication or anything. But I'm kind of changing. I just want to I want some help. I really do. I'm tired of living. I'm really tired. I need some help. I love my babies. I want to be there.
You won't be there for them.
Right.
Do you have a plan to hurt yourself right now?
No.
Okay. Have you ever been in therapy?
No.
Okay. Maybe you should think about therapy.
I don't know, but my business, I don't like to tell people my business. Somebody gonna try to take my kids away or something.
You ain't told me all your business.
Well, just because I was talking to you, I ain't signed no papers or nothing. You can't do that. You ain't even know where I live at.
Because of how you're feeling, why don't we have you talk to one of the doctors? What do you think about that? Is that something okay to you?
I think I'll be open to talking to somebody.
Okay.
Somebody else besides you?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to be there? Because
I'll
I like you.
If you want me to be there, I'm here for you.
Yeah, because if the doctor says something I don't like, I really don't. I don't want them talking over my head or nothing like that. I want somebody to are you going to be around? Or
I'll be around.
Okay.
I'll be right here.
Okay.
Okay?
Excellent.
All right. These guys are Emmy candidates, right?
So how many could relate to that? How many people have clients or somebody walk through their door like that, right? So you can identify with them, right? So at this point, we're gonna get you some feedback on this form, right?
Okay. Has everybody used the PHQ-9?
No.
What do you think of it?
I do like it, but some of the questions, I kind of try to not exactly read it as it is in there, and then like the conversation, and I'm kind of asking them in there, because sometimes they no, I don't think I'm depressed, and I ask the questions, and they say no, everything is no. But when I talk to them, they're eating, they're sleeping too much. And it's like, okay, wait a minute. And I think about the PHQ-9, and wait a minute, you say no to all of the questions, and now, he says he's sleeping too much, not eating, or. So. But I used it. I used it on most of my clients. Most of my clients are depressed.
Yes. And remember, it's just a screener. So it really means that this is something that we need to look for and refer to a clinician to sort of make another assessment. Yeah. But it's a very good tool. And very often with clients, I will actually read it and work with them on it as opposed to giving it to them themselves, because particularly with question number 1, they have some difficulties. So we try to clarify a little bit.
I'm kind of touching on what she said, because I kind of felt this. I haven't actually used it, but just kind of reading it. Like the clients that I work with, if you ask them, are you having trouble sleeping, or are you sleeping too much? They'll tell you no, because they don't know. I work with teens. A lot of them don't know how to gauge what's too much, what is overeating. Well, because according to that, they eat like their families, and most of their families, especially a lot of them. I work with clients that are on Cal Works. A lot of them eat a lot. Like they tend to eat a lot of junk food and things like that. So to them, that's not overeating, or sleeping for 12 hours isn't too much sleep to them. So is it okay, even if we're using this to kind of rephrase? Like I'm gonna ask them. So they're saying, are you sleeping too much? How much do you sleep?
Well, one of the things is that when you ask them straight out, people are telling you no, 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 no. But as you know, in all of your work, when you have that conversation, that dialogue, they're telling you something different. And so you can go back and clarify. Well, wait a minute. You said that you're not having a problem with eating, but you gained 50 pounds in the last 6 months. Are you eating too much? Or, so.
Sometimes, just to answer your question, sometimes just rephrasing, when you're saying the question and they're coming out in the dialogue like how we did, the answer comes out, and then restating it, because I'm not aware that, like you said, I'm not aware that I'm sleeping too much, or I'm not aware that I'm overeating. But when I'm having a conversation and it's brought up that now, dang, I didn't realize it's been that long since I went swimming again. Right. And then he restates it again. So then, are you having trouble sleeping, or are you, because then it pops up that maybe I am having a problem. Or maybe, yes, I have gained some weight, or I've lost a lot of weight, or I've not, sometimes when you have the conversation and back and forth, the question then makes people think back again and say, oh, yeah, maybe I am. Maybe I answered that wrong. Can I go back and rechange my question to that? Because it's always optional, and that's why it's good to have that conversation with the client and looking at their cues that they're doing, the behaviors and the way that they're acting, so that you can also think about, how they're engaging. Because when I started to cry, he realized at this point that I needed a moment, and then maybe my question, because like you said, our clients are going to tell us what we want to hear. They want to keep the face. Most times when we're dealing with clients in our communities, they're saying, no, I don't have a problem with this. No, I'm not doing that. No, I don't gain no weight. No, everything's perfect. And I'm not telling you my business, and my family might find out. And I'm not. So we have to dig a little deeper, because evidently they came through the door. So they're looking for some help. And so it's like that probing and that interaction. And you're the frontline person that's going to have that interaction with that individual. I think he did first, and then.
Real quick, I loved the way you did it, and the probing and the listening and all that. And the only question I would have is that I often train interviewers to do this PHQ. And if someone is doing it the way you did it, and some other interviewer is just reading it straight down, how do you get, you're going to get very different scores sometimes, even with the same client. And so one of the things that we try to do is look at them, the same person doing it with the same client over time. And, what do you think about the reading it verbatim versus the excessive probing?
Well, I think that it really it's difficult. What happens is a lot of, it just starts, the interchange just starts to happen. And so I revert to my style. So,
And it's rapport.
It's rapport,
I would say that, because, and like, I think, somebody over here said it, or it might have been you, that said that because when a client first walks through the door, you could read something to me, and we may not have this engagement either way, and you could read it and I'm answering the question. 6 months from now, I might still answer the question the same way, but because we've had some other interaction, that these questions are lies. They're not the truth anymore. So then you can continue to read it to me, and I'm going to still answer it the same way. So unless you want it to change, you're going to have to change and adapt to that individual. So that interviewer needs to learn, I think, both styles, and to be efficient of how to answer that question to get that client to move, or they're not going to come back. At least that's been my experience working with, with my community workers and the case managers that I've worked with, as well as myself. It's just over time. So maybe her, and then.
All right, we're ready for. We're ready for scene 2, and scene 2 is going to cover getting to know you worksheet, and it's 2 pages followed by extra sheet for notes. Getting to know you worksheet, and Craig is going to get to know her better, and the purpose of this worksheet is to collect as much information about Janet so that he can start to understand, her preconceived opinions about treatment or depression, and also maybe what some obstacles might be. And this is important now in establishing rapport. It's also going to help Craig down the road, maybe when the road gets rough. All right, scene 2, take. Is that how you say take? Hollywood. Action.
Hey, Janet, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Yeah?
I'm doing all right.
Are you a little better than before? A little worse?
Same.
About the same? Hey, how did your visit go?
I went pretty good.
Okay. The doctor take good care of you?
Yeah, we talked a little bit.
Did you feel listened to?
He listened.
Okay.
He listened. I talked. Listened.
Okay. You gonna see him again?
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad you're here. You mentioned before that you weren't doing very much to relax. Has that changed? What kind of pleasant activities do you do for fun, or how do you relax?
Well, like I said before, I like to go swimming and stuff. I haven't done that. Still haven't done that yet.
Okay.
And I like to read, but I still haven't been able to concentrate like on a good book or nothing yet.
Okay.
It's still kind of bad right now. Still not too good. Yeah, it's all right though, but I'm glad. I felt better that I came and talked to somebody, so I feel pretty good now.
Good.
He gave me some medication.
Good.
He gave me some medication.
Okay.
Somebody told me it's gonna take a while.
It'll take a little bit, but you hang in there. Do you meditate, do yoga, or anything like that?
I did used to meditate.
Okay.
And I did do no yoga. I can't do it. It's just difficult. It looks easy, but it ain't easy. No, but and then I used to walk, but since I gained so much weight, it's hard on my knees.
So you're not walking.
I'm not walking a lot. So, but I try to, I've been keeping the house clean.
Well, hey, okay. All right, small steps.
Yeah.
How's your sleeping?
But that's still not too good. It's still kind of bad.
What do you mean it's kind of bad?
I'm still not sleeping good at night all night yet.
Okay. What time do you go to bed?
By 11.
What time do you get up?
The first time?
Mhm.
Second time? I get about 2.
Tell me all the times.
About 2, then about 4, 4:30, then about 6. When we get the kids off for school.
When you wake up at 2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, do you get up and clean the house or listen to the radio? What do you do?
I just lay there.
You just lay there. Okay. Okay. So that hasn't improved. What kind of people or things in your life that you may be feeling that you have some difficulties with?
I don't know.
Okay. How are things with you and your husband?
Like all things. You have to pay bills and stuff, and he's there, he plays with the kids and stuff, and I don't think he really does his share.
Okay. What I'd like to do is I'd like to have you go through these, and we can go through them together, and you sort of check with me. My experience with treatment, okay? I've been diagnosed with depression in the past. Is that true?
No.
Okay.
Well, just that when I came, was that in the past?
No, in the past.
Before my
Before you met me.
Okay,
Yeah.
no.
Okay, so you haven't received depression treatment for depression. Have you ever taken antidepressants before?
No.
Okay. Anybody
What's
in your...
antidepressant? That one I have to be depressed before to be antidepressant? Is that?
Yeah.
Well, no, then no.
Okay. Anybody in your family or friends take antidepressants?
Yeah.
Ooh.
My brother.
Your brother?
Mm-hmm. Well, I don't know what is that, bipolar?
No.
No, then
Is your brother bipolar?
Yeah, my brother's
Okay.
bipolar.
Okay. Anybody?
He's crazy. He's crazy. My brother's crazy. I had to hit him in the head. He was crazy.
You didn't hurt him, did you?
No, but I had to get him up. He had to go. So.
Okay, you not planning on hitting him again?
No, he ain't been at my house. No, he's good.
So he might be somebody you want to try to avoid right now.
Yeah, because I'm my temper. I have a short. I know I have a short fuse. Because I had to cuss this person out on telephone the other day. I was like, look, I ain't got the money right now. She just kept on pressing. And I was like, then I felt bad because I did it in front of the kids,
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying to tell them don't use profanity, I'm going to accuse you of profanity. But that lady she got it coming.
She just pushed your button.
She pushed my buttons, but so. Okay.
You told me you've never tried counseling before in the past?
No. That wasn't really like counseling, no. I went to a group though before.
All right.
Like a woman's group thing. They kind of like an African soul kind of thing,
Well, that's important. You felt better when you left, right?
Yeah, I did, because there was a lot of women together and they was talking you know, they was together and they was talking and they was bringing this whole like stuff together. They was telling stories. I kind of felt like a part of a group there, and it was nice. It was some me time. It was nice.
Why did you quit going?
Because I didn't have nobody to watch the kids. I can't bring the kids along. It was too distracting when I did. I couldn't concentrate. So. And then I don't remember. I don't know if it kept going. I don't know.
Okay.
I lost contact with him.
All right. Does your husband watch the children?
Yeah, he'll watch them sometimes.
Okay.
Sometimes if I really make a big point of it or something. He said I don't give enough notice or something sometimes.
Oh, okay. But you could go if you needed to, right?
Yeah, I guess I could.
Okay. Has counseling ever helped anybody in your family?
I don't really know about it. We don't really believe in really. I mean, you know,
It's just not.
It's just really not. I don't really. That's really a white person's thing. You know, they go to counseling all the time.
Oh, okay.
Black people, we don't do that.
Well, we all go to counseling. If it's not for you, then that's okay. But, you know, we all might need it at some point. So it's available. Tell me if this statement applies to you.
Okay.
I'm against taking medications.
Well, I kind of, because, you know, like sometimes I be thinking medication make people more crazier than they are. You know, I don't want, you know, you see the commercials all the time. You take this in, you're going to have this problem, that problem. I don't know if I don't really like, I took the medicine the doctor gave me.
Right. Keep taking the medicine.
But I'm still kind of concerned. I'm really not like all the way there with the medication thing, because you know, the commercials tell you that your liver gonna go. I don't know. Oh, it doesn't even tell you it might get worse.
Those things are true, but let's do this. Before you make any decisions, make sure you talk to the doctor and ask him all your questions. And as you begin to experience things,
sometimes I don't remember the questions.
Let's write them down.
Okay.
You know,
you know, I did get a book. I did buy this little booklet. Just what I did do. I see this little booklet.
See?
And I started writing down things. Like sometimes when thoughts come in my head, I started writing them things down so that I could remember what I needed to talk about.
Okay.
Because somebody suggested that I do ask like 3 questions to the doctor.
That's right.
So I got him. I got my little book.
You got your book. Now, you told me you're against counseling and therapy, right?
Did I say again? I said I don't really believe in it all. I mean, I don't like really talk. Yeah, I did say that. I did.
I'm just trying to understand.
I did say that. I said I don't really trust them too much because I don't really want everybody out of my business.
What kind of things make it hard for you to get care? You worry about the money?
Yeah, because I have a copay. You know, like my copay, and I can't really afford to. Like my kids have healthy families, so they get treatment, but my copay is higher. You know, and it's like I think it's $20 per visit plus prescriptions or whatever, and I can't really afford to always go. You know, I mean, I can't afford it all the time. So,
all right. Does your provider not accepting your insurance? Is that sort of something that keeps you from going?
Well, that was before I came to the doctor before. Now I have insurance, but...
Okay. Your health plan pay for your treatment?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay. Do you know where to go for help?
Well, the lady down the street told me to come here.
And so
that's my...
So now you know.
Where I bring the kids, you know, the child care provider.
All right.
The weekly people, they told me to come here, and I came to you. And so now, yeah, I know what's going on here.
Do you get appointments as soon as you need them?
Here, yeah.
Okay.
Well, yeah.
We're going to take good care of you.
Yeah, okay.
All right. All right. Does it take you a long time to get here?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I got to get off the 105 and take the 210 and then take the... So it took me about an hour and a half to get here on the bus.
Wow. But you know, that shows that you really want to come and you want to be here.
Well, if it was something closer to me, it'd be better. You know, it'd be
Well,
nice.
maybe we
if-
can find
but
something.
I don't really know because they, you know, I
All
don't really
right.
trust everybody over there. So
Okay. Can you get through on the telephone okay?
yeah, but you know what bothers me the most is the recording. You gotta press this number, then press that number. Y'all should have somebody really just soon as
Just answer
somebody,
the phone.
yeah, somebody need to pick up that phone. That's what I would tell you to tell him that. But I can press the 0.
You can.
I
And just go straight to operator. Do you believe that you can be helped?
I think anybody can be helped, so
Okay.
I think I can be helped too. I know I can. I believe my Jesus Christ, is my provider. So
All right.
he carried me through, so I'm here. So that's, you know, I go to church. Did I tell you I go
You
to
didn't
church?
tell me about
You
that.
should come to church with me sometime.
Where do you go?
I go over here to New Fellowship.
Okay.
It's a nice church. This is a nice church. Everybody's real nice. Pastor's really nice. You should come.
Oh, well, will you make sure you get me the
I'm
information?
gonna bring, next time I come, I'm gonna bring it to you.
All right.
I like the singing, the gospel singing.
Do you sing?
I wish, but I can't sing. But I love to hear the singing. That makes my spirit feel good. That's the only time I feel at peace. Sometimes when I hear the singing, it helps calm me down.
Mm-hmm. Are you afraid of what others think about you coming here?
I ain't talking about coming down here.
Okay. that might be a good thing. All right.
You let somebody, they start thinking you crazy, or they come take your kids away. I can't let nobody know I'm coming down here.
You know that being depressed doesn't make you crazy, right?
Come on now, they tell me I'm taking that pill. Then you crazy. You taking them crazy pills.
We have just a little more to go. You're drinking.
Yeah.
Okay. You're still drinking 4 or 5 drinks a night
Actually, you know,
of cognac?
Cognac.
Cognac?
Yak. You know yak.
Yeah.
No, not as much.
Not as much. Okay.
I haven't had to. I think the pills they gave me I take at nighttime, you know, kind of help me sleep a little bit longer than I was. I think it's some kind of, I don't know if it's a sleep, do I have some kind of sleep something or something make me help me sleep?
Now you got to show me what he gave you. I'm glad you have him with you.
Yeah, I brought him with me because I was like, I want to ask a second, I want to ask another opinion. I want you to tell me what this was because he did explain it to me.
Okay.
And I read the side effects on the side, you know, the little warnings and stuff. But I want you to hear what do you think about that? What are these? These all right?
These are all right.
Okay.
Yeah. They give you a little brochure. It tells you what they are.
Fuck, man, that's too much information in paper. I don't read all that stuff. That's not just read all that stuff.
So you mean you take stuff and you don't know what it is?
You need a dictionary for that paper. And it's too little. You see, I got bifocals. I can't read all that small print. You're not listening to me.
I'm listening. I just forgot about that.
Okay.
All right. You're not separated. You're not divorced, right?
No,
Okay. You're not thinking about it, right?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
All right.
You know, my faith say, you know, I want to get divorced, but I don't know if I want to stay. I don't know yet. Plus, I can't afford it. I don't know. I don't want to talk about it.
You don't. Okay. We'll
Talk about that guy. Oh, that's too much to think.
Have you been laid off? I know you were on probation. How you doing?
I've been going to work.
Good.
I've been going to work. It's still difficult to get there, but I've been going. And my job, they said that if I needed to take some time off, I got it.
You got some
I
time?
got some sick time, so they said they'll work with me because they like my work.
Okay.
So they told me to let them know if I needed to take some time.
Anybody close to you been really sick?
Yeah,
Who?
my daughter.
Oh, no. What's wrong?
I don't know.
What's the doctor tell you?
I don't know. They don't live near me. She doesn't live near me. I just know that she said she's sick. Yeah.
I must worry you a lot.
Yeah, my mama's sick. She's old. And then my son, you know, he got financial problems.
Yeah.
I'm worried a lot about him. But I think about my grandma dying. It's just been a lot for me.
It's been a lot.
Yeah, because she was my stones, you know, she was my heart, you know. I think about it a lot. But I know she's still here with me, though.
That's right.
She's still here with me.
Yeah. Yeah.
I believe that people always stay with you.
They do.
Okay, is that it?
Yeah, we're going to have you see the doctor again today. You got any questions for the
I got to
doctor?
see the doctor again today?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're going to take good care of you.
Yeah, because remember, I wanted you to ask the doctor, didn't I have, let me get my book.
Get your book out.
I did have some questions. I remembered that I did, because I've been constipating. Okay, what the medication, is it supposed to make me thirsty?
That's a good question for the doctor.
And then I noticed that I'm like when I take the medicine, I feel nauseous in the morning time.
Okay.
So is there? That's those two questions I want to answer. Is there supposed to feel nauseous?
I don't know.
Okay. Why you don't know?
I'm not the doctor.
Oh, okay. So that's the question I'm asking the doctor.
So let's ask him now, okay?
Okay.
All right.
You okay?
You guys did so great. Any comments, feedback from you guys?
Medication and the alcohol.
What's the question?
Medication and alcohol.
Oh, right. Medication and alcohol.
Well, just for time's sake, it's not really all inclusive, but that's certainly an issue that should be addressed.
Major issue.
It's a major issue.
But don't most doctors ask that before they prescribe medication? So I know when I go to the doctor, they say, do you drink, do you smoke? And those people.
They ask, so they still prescribe the medication.
It just depends what pamphlet they're going to hand you.
Right.
And remember, as a part of collaborative care, I mean, one of the things that why this role is so important is because now we're reaching out to the doctor also and saying, hey, you know, they're drinking. You know, did they tell you this? Because we all know sometimes they'll tell me something that they don't tell the doctor, or they'll tell the doctor something they don't tell me, or they tell the therapist something completely different. And so it's really important that we all talk so we can all get the full story, you know, so we can really help the patient. So.
I like the fact that you keep on hitting on like the trust issue, as far as like the different things in the community, different times of not trusting people. That's really important because you slowly see her gaining trust in, you know, your abilities.
Yeah. That's basically what I was going to say.
Very good. What'd you think about the length of the form, the length of the interview? Okay. Go ahead.
Just at the process, I think, Craig, of you asking the question actually brings up issues for her to bring up. She would have never talked about all the grief she's going through and the bereavement had you not asked. And most physicians do not have time to ask those kinds of questions. And so you may be one of the first people to actually hear about all the grief this woman is going through. Why? Because you asked the question. Same thing with the PHQ-9. You're asking the question. Otherwise, a lot of clients will not know to even think that's an issue. Whether it's eating, everybody has problems eating. Everybody eats too much. It's not a problem. Well, in this case, it was a problem. But again, and it came up as a problem because you asked the question.
How do you handle the issue about being invited to her church? Would you be inclined to go? Would you be politely decline? Keep welcoming them?
You want to answer that?
I go to church myself. You can come to my church.
I'm just curious.
I mean, but I'm
as a
saying.
provider, I'm just saying how
Oftentimes, if you, well, she's inviting you.
because she's feeling closer to him.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's just part of the culture, you know. But also to find out if you go to church. So there's two kind of
She has two motives, maybe.
two motives in that one question. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is. See, one of the things that happens a lot, at least it has in my 20 years of working with people that I work with, they also always want to know my standing. And when I'm sending them somewhere, I want to make sure that I'm connecting them to something that's going to be a good fit for them. I'm not going to send them to somebody that, for example, a person that's in recovery, drugs and alcohol, for example, but they have a strong faith-based center from themselves. I'm not going to send them to a program that won't allow, that's really broken into not letting them pray or whatever, even though I agree that they need to get another found. Evidently, that somewhere there's a breakdown, but that's not for me to make that job. I need to find them the best fit. So sometimes if he would have said, he politely said, okay, that might, but he may never come.
Right.
But he was gracious enough to be open to the idea of, oh yeah, that sounds good. But he may never come. Doesn't mean that I take it personal. I just say, oh, he's not an atheist across the table from me or something like that. And maybe he is.
Yeah.
But I need to know that, because if I'm talking about Jesus Christ and and then I realize, oh, he may be. I don't believe. Then that might be my barrier automatically, and I'm not coming back.
Right.
So I need to know kind of like who he is or what he. Even if he doesn't necessarily believe what I believe, I need to know that he believes. I mentioned it on several occasions about my music. I go to church, what soothes my soul. So when he develops his plan, or when we work on a plan together, which is going to be our next, he's got to know what to help me to move me through. What's some things that help me get through the depression. So that'll help me stop drinking, because if I'm really doing what I'm going to church and whatever, maybe my drinking is not going to be a part of that. My cognac, I'm just saying, I don't know. But I'm just saying, I'm not going into that yet, but I'm just saying, he's getting a history and some foundation to work with, and also see if I'm telling the other people the same thing. This group of people that are now going to help me with my care.
It's important what you said about the faith piece in terms of if you believe that he didn't believe at all,
Right.
that you wouldn't come back.
Right.
And it's important for us as providers to understand that, and you might want to transfer that case to somebody who does believe. Nothing wrong with that, because the person is not going to get the help if they think that you don't know the Lord and they've been reared with that, because they think you don't know what you're talking about.
And I just give you a quick example with I was doing pregnancy. I was doing teen pregnancy prevention, and in high schools with predominantly African American students, pregnant women, young women, that parenting their kids and they're in school. My approach with this group, when I went to Linwood, was predominantly Latino young moms that are rearing their babies with the husband's family that didn't have the same kind of, I don't want to say empowerment, but the same kind of force that the African American young women did that they had over here. So my technique had to change, because I'm working with a whole different element and spiritual foundation and generational relationships that didn't happen in this sector. So you have to kind of know who, and I had to bring along somebody else with me that could culturally relate, because even as a woman, I didn't relate to you can't breastfeed your baby because his mama said something. For me, it was like, this is my baby, in my culture, what you talking, so I can understand that I need to talk to somebody that is in that, and then they can come along. So sometimes you need to learn that. And that's what this collaborative care is talking about. How do we begin to infuse this family and bring them together and bring the services together so that this person gets better and match them well. So that's what.
Follow up, sounds like we raised some important issues, but it was kind of an accident. I'll rephrase a question. Suppose the suggestion had been to come to the school carnival. I was just thinking about with a provider, how, just more of a boundary issue. I'm just curious, as a provider, how do you navigate those kinds of, you get invited to the school carnival, And you could, I thought you handled it nicely there in a sort of, as Felica was saying, kind of an ambiguous way. It wasn't clear you were going or not. You reacted positively, but I don't know. I'm just curious from the provider vantage point how you navigate those kinds of issues.
Well, really what I try to do is be open and really appreciative, because that's telling me that she's beginning to trust me. She's inviting me into her life. But because of some boundaries that I want to make sure we maintain so I can continue to help her, I've actually never gone to church with anyone. I mean, not that I didn't want to, but just because to try to keep that separate. I actually haven't been to anyone's school carnival. I do bump into people from time to time, and if they talk to me and they're sort of open about who I am, then yeah, sure, I talk to them. But I've had other people who've ignored me and been perfectly happy to not acknowledge them. So,
Can I add that to that? I think it also goes back to being like genuine. Hopefully, as like a caseworker or MFT, I talk to my clients as if they are also like peers, Right. So usually like reading questions and all that stuff, I don't do that because I wouldn't want someone to do it to me. It's just a part of being genuine, and it goes back to what you said at the beginning when you're talking about, the phone interview and all that stuff. You want to make a person have a good, impression and all that stuff. So I think it's appropriate to say, you know what, thank you for the invitation. Like, I'm grateful for that. Will you tell me how it went? Or I hope you enjoy yourself. Yeah. There's ways to say I can't go without being rude and, or, putting yourself apart.
Sure.
I've also been asked to go to places, and I'm not a provider or care manager, I'm usually just an interviewer, but in the sense of building rapport, like this woman wanted me to come to her karaoke night on Skid Row to support her as she was getting up to sing with the other people in the room, and so I went, and then we did the interview after she was done with karaoke, and it was a great interview, and she appreciated that I came to see her. I don't know if I would have gone to her church necessarily, but unless she was in the choir and she was singing in the choir and she wanted support in that sense. But boundaries, it's a tough one.
I think as mental health providers, where I'm working, we really don't cross that boundary. But I think the way they handled it was really, really good, because this is the part where you're more or less getting to know as an introduction. And as you go into, and as a treatment team, she'll come to know that there are certain boundaries, but you don't have to let that be known initially when you're initially doing an intake on a person or asking about these valid questions right away. I think that's something that you really come to establish along the way. And then they know as well as you do. And maybe sometimes you have to reiterate that this is what I do, and this, but there are certain ways, just like we alluded to earlier, to make that be known. But I think later on in the process, after establishing a rapport, you can let that be known, and they come to respect that.
Yeah.
I think so. Like, I used to be a case manager working with children and teens, mostly who were in kinship care and foster care, and children whose parents were incarcerated. And talk about depression. There's a lot of issues going on there. And I do believe in the boundaries. But at my in that position, I was a case manager, and it meant a lot to the children. A lot of times, when you're working with children, it means the world to them when you show up to their play. And it means the world to them when you show that support for them. With adults, they might understand that boundary issue. Kids don't understand that. You talk to me every day, you play with me sometimes, and now you tell me you can't come to my play. It hurts. Right. So if it was a public event, I would go. Now, if their parent invited me to the birthday party, I would say, no, I'm not able to do that. Right. So that's a personal, private event. But it's a school play or some type of public carnival, and the child's going to be performing, or they have a dance crew and they want me to come see them perform. I would go to that because it's public and it's a public event, and it's not really a personal backyard birthday party.
And you can document that as a visit.
and I can get paid.
Really quick, just to add on to that before we go to this question, is that because this is such a unique way and a unique program, the project that we're doing here, and all the approaches, there's going to be different ways people are going to engage. So for example, a case manager or case coordinator with children and families may do something different like that. You know, a therapist may be doing something totally different, but they're going to have support and connectedness and access from different points of view, so people will handle this situation based on their policies of their agency and the way that they normally handle it, and also culturally. You know, sometimes it'll be offensive. Like I used to teach my case managers when they used to do home visits. They go to a family's house and they're sitting down, they're doing something. Don't try to rush through it. And they want, you know, you hold the baby, and there's certain boundaries that you have to take for policy reasons for the agency, but there's also cultural things that's considered rude if you come into my home and you do certain things. So, I mean, I think that comes with the training and also the policies of your agency. But the uniqueness about this process is that we're going to be doing it from a team approach, from all of us working together with this client. So that'll be the unique way of handling this. And we just being that we have.
I was just going to make a comment that a lot of the things that we've have been talked about don't sound to me like things that would necessarily create a dual relationship, and I think that people get real kind of caught up in the whole boundary issue. I mean, I think if something you're doing is outside of the traditional scope of your work, but it still fits within the boundaries of your job, there's no boundary issue there. Mm-hmm. You know, it's about, you know, checking yourself and your motives and understanding what those boundaries are in place for, you know. And one last thing, that's why supervision is really, really important.
Yes, exactly.
I was just thinking that we've got a very diverse group in this room. Some of you are mental health therapists, some of you are ministers. And, you know, so Father Will's job is to be at that wedding. So you know, I think the common ground, you know, may be that in dealing with the client around these issues, the being clear about the privacy of these matters and being very clear about what one's boundaries are. Like, I'll be seeing you at the wedding and I will enjoy you in that company and I won't be sharing this information with others in the congregation. I mean, because in this room there's so many approaches and so many different relationships. I face the situation where I'm often in a social situation with people I treat because I'm at a medical center, right? So, or I'm in a professional situation with those individuals. So, but I always know I have to be mindful of the clarity that can be very helpful to reassure people. Our relationship on this encounter is about these set of issues, and how I handle that is this is our business.
Right.
You know, I may have insurance forms to fill out like with anybody, but if I see you in another context, which I will enjoy you in that context and be respectful of the fact that we have another relationship and not share that with others.
It's like, for example, I live in the area that I work in. So I see clients in the supermarket, at the laundromat, the mall all the time, and they come, that's my case manager. And I'm 10 years ago, and that's my social worker. I'm not even a social worker. But they'll identify you the way they want to identify you. They may even come up to you. I even had clients want to name their kids after me. You know, I mean, that's an honor, right? But you still, I mean, because they're attached. You've been with this family for quite a while, especially if you're doing case management, court, any kind. And I move from agency to agency, and they follow you. I mean, they stay in touch with you if you're that type of person, right? You know, and I have clients who've been around me for 10 years, 15 years now. Their kids are grown now. You know what I mean? But so there's certain things. If you live and work in the community, you're gonna run into people. You sometimes you're traveling somewhere, you run in there, they'll identify you. How do you handle that? Oh, that's my therapist. You know, I mean, sometimes people may say that. I mean, you can't be, you know. Right. So there may be times when they'll say, or they may not want you to say that. And so, like keeping that boundary, keeping it clear, but also knowing that I'm still here for you no matter what. But this is different setting.
Very good.
What did you think about that forum? The forum, getting to know you forum.
Good? Okay, great. We're ready to go on to our next exercise, and this is going to involve, we're really excited about this sheet, My Personal Wellness Plan. And this is where we're going to ask some participants to help us out. Janet is going to be our leader.
Okay, so the concept of the personal wellness plan is a plan that you develop I developed with Craig, and it's designed to help me, work through some of the issues and get to a road of wellness for myself, right? To take little steps, not look at, because most times, like you heard my story, I'm overwhelmed. I can't think. I can't even clean my house without jumping from room to room. So I need a plan that can help me start to see some little successes in my life, so that I can begin to see that I'm getting better, right? So this is going to be the personal wellness plan, and so I'm going to ask for feedback. If you can turn to your personal, this is my personal wellness plan. Does everybody have one of those? Okay, so this form right here will really help, and because most of the times when I'm overwhelmed already and I'm talking, but I'm getting a little bit better. I'm building a little bit of a rapport with Craig, so I'm trying to find out whether or not. Sometimes, like you say, write a goal down. Even for a person that's not depressed, sometimes it's a big issue. So even for me, for a person that's depressed, and my score was pretty high, how do I? What is my okay? So he said, how far is the place? So let's walk through the form together.
Sure. And then
they'll walk through. We're gonna walk through it, and then we'll get some opinions on how we could overcome a barrier, a challenge, or something. So the first half of the form is my resources. So Craig is going to help me identify my resources. What do I have? So we already know I have a doctor. I have the doctor, and Craig is my care manager, right? And then do I have a therapist?
You didn't want therapy.
I didn't want therapy.
Maybe you changed your mind.
Okay, so that might be something that goes into my care plan. And then there's a list of telephone numbers for everybody on this one sheet, because oftentimes, with your clients, they put a number of the doctor over here, now they got cell phones, but if they don't have a cell phone, they put numbers everywhere. So this form will keep all the numbers on one place and one clear. And Craig is going to ask me. One of the questions on here is who do I count on, right?
Right. Who's your friend that you always can count on, that you can trust?
I felt isolated, but I still have some connectedness to somebody. Remember, I said I have my girlfriend. She's been my friend since high school. 27 years we've been friends. So okay. I can. If I really had a hard time, I could call her.
You could call her.
Yeah.
Okay, so is she somebody you would like to put down as a resource?
Yeah, I think
to call? You feel comfortable talking to her?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now, you mentioned church. How about your pastor? Is that someone that you can call and talk to?
Yeah, I can talk to I can talk to the pastor's wife. I know she'll talk to her.
All right. Would you feel comfortable in talking to pastor's wife or the pastor, or?
I don't really like the church people know too much about my personal business at home and stuff, but I could talk to her, from a lady's perspective. For some things I won't talk to them about, because I don't think they really, the drinking and everything,
Which reminds me, we got to talk about that.
Okay.
So we'll go with your girlfriend that you've known for 20 years. We'll put her number down.
Okay.
Where do you get your prescriptions filled?
I get them at Walgreens.
At Walgreens? Mm-hmm. How long have you been? Is that usually where you go?
Yeah, because it's right down the street. I can walk. I don't even need it to get to the bus and that. It's right there.
You know, a great resource when you have medication questions is your pharmacist. You can always reach out and talk to them and ask them, you know, about side effects and.
You know, they do that with my asthma. They always, when I get my asthma medication, they always sit there and tell. I never thought about asking them questions about the Med 12 stuff. Because y'all gave them to me directly, though. Didn't y'all?
Well, we may have, but that doesn't mean that can't be a resource.
Oh, okay. It's like if I get a refill, I can ask them or just call them up and ask them.
Okay. But I don't want you to stop taking them without talking to your doctor first, right?
Okay.
What do you see as being your biggest challenge in your life right now? Your biggest problem? We talked about you feel overwhelmed, you have 2 kids, going to school, the house, you know, your husband Luther.
That's it.
That's it. That's the problem. That's the problem. No, I'm kidding.
You're not exercising anymore. You're not having any me time. You tell me.
I think that's the biggest thing. I'm really not having no me time. Like I need to. I don't really know how to. I don't know how to really like. I guess I would say my biggest challenge with my challenge is I really need to get to sleep. You know, to really sleep. Sleeping's a problem, and you know, sometimes coming all the way over here is hard too. Because I gotta get on so many buses.
All right.
Okay. It's a lot of buses out here. And you know, just you know, I don't know how to answer that question. I just want to get better. So I don't know how to answer.
Which one? No, they're all important to you. They're all problems. Am I correct in that?
Work. Did I say work?
You didn't say work.
Oh no. Actually, my job is doing pretty good right now. So that's just it.
Okay.
Money.
Okay. That's always a problem. Which one would you like to work on first?
Some me time.
Me time. Okay. So in your challenge, not having me time, what does not having me time mean to you? Why is that a problem?
Because if I can't take care of me, I can't take care of them kids.
Okay. So, let's create a goal for you then. Don't roll your eyes at me. What do you want your goal to be?
I don't know.
You said me time. So you tell me. What do you think? I need me time.
Right.
Create some me time.
How do you create me time?
Well, I'm just asking you what's your goal. We gotta make a.
Okay, let's ask that. So if you had something like this, which you probably will, or you probably do, how do you handle that? How would you handle something like that? How would this form be useful for you if you had to engage? Because we have to get that person to start to thinking, to small steps. What do you?
The prior session said that you enjoy swimming. We did it for a long time, so maybe I'm able to reflect what I was swimming.
So that might be one of mine. So helping that person identify what their pleasure was.
Right.
So that could go down on the paper, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
And some regularity. Does that mean swimming once, or does that mean swimming once a week? Or for the goal, it's really important that it's measurable.
Right. To see how much they can do.
You were talking about me time, like this is a challenge for you. That's because you don't have the me time.
Right.
So I probably would say something to the fact like, could you work something out with your husband, like get him to commit to a certain day or maybe a certain day every week for you to have that me time. But it has to like get him involved.
Very good, because that lets me know too that you were listening to me.
Right.
He said he wasn't. No, he said he would, but I wasn't giving him enough schedule, enough notice.
Right.
So if I could schedule him into doing the me time, to give me some me time, that might help me
on
to
a
be
regular.
on a regular basis.
Yeah.
I may be able to go back to swimming.
Right.
So.
Yeah.
No, but you don't want to talk about the husband. You said that.
I didn't want. No, when I was upset, but I did say that he would give. She was listening. If I give him enough notice and I talked to him, he was willing. So there was that opening. I just was upset when I first started talking. So.
I'm not a case manager or anything like that. I'm a person who suffers from depression. And I've been through all this CBT and all these treatment plans. And I was going to say by far that part is the hardest for us to deal with when we're going through that. And we're confronted with what do we like to do? What would make something better? Because in that frame, all you're thinking about is the negative thing, that it's so hard, it's so emotionally hard to try to think of something positive or try to see yourself doing something positive. So I think that's the biggest role, like right now, is helping her trying to come up with that plan, because she can't come up with it, or else, and it's so hard to get yourself out of that thinking to do something like that.
Right. Exactly.
And it's very frustrating.
And then if we come up with something, she always finds an excuse of not doing that.
Well, no, it's not for you to come up with it. It's trying to help her process what is the enjoyable thing that she can do that is small and measurable. That's the key. See, because I can say I want to go back swimming like I used to swim, 5 days a week, every day, but I can't do it because it's not obtainable. That's why what makes this a good option. What's this not a good? What are the barriers to me being successful in this? So if I can get him to commit to once a week, that's a good option. That makes it a good option. And why is it not a good option? So can I think of what might not be? So what would be the option that he may say no?
Yeah.
That might be the other challenge. He may say no. So then I have to have another option. Maybe my girlfriend of 20 years may be that other option for that hour a week that I can get to what. So you have to begin, like the young lady said in the back, you have to begin to help them because they're in a critical point of being so overwhelmed that when you speak of a goal or you speak of, completing just an application of something, it's so overwhelming that they can't process it. They can't think of it. So you can come up with a whole lot of ideas and this could be filled out in 2 minutes. But like I said, they're not going to do it. They're not going to do it because you made the plan. Right. So the goal of this is to help them to identify, really go through it one at a time. What would be the reason that would be good? Because I was having difficulty finding a reason or finding a goal. But I mentioned a few things, swimming. I mentioned reading. I mentioned I like my gospel, so maybe I can find us to go to church on Sunday without the kids. Might be an option, right? Maybe the pastors, maybe they got the children's church part where I can send the kids over there and I can skip some me time. So there are some options.
Right.
But it's helping pick those options out that helps this client process a way to start to get that win again. Once they begin to get a little bit of a win and they're balancing themselves out, then the plan can start to come together. But it's in this dialogue. It's in this conversation. It's in this care plan that I'm working on.
At our agency, we do care plans with all of our youth. With our youth, we have to do it every 3 months. But I noticed a lot with our younger people, especially my young clients that are like 16, 17, as opposed to my 18, 19-year-old clients, they have a harder time coming with anything that they do at all that's not negative. So a lot of keep in mind, we work with pregnant and parenting teens. So sometimes their hobbies consisted of not going to school and hanging out with their friends that they themselves maybe even identified as being negative influences. So one of the things I know that we have is a list of some categories to kind of give them an idea. Some of them don't even have hobbies or interests. And in fact, I noticed those probably more likely my very depressed clients. They sit in the house all day. They don't go to school. They don't. Their parents take care of the baby more than they do. So So what I think one of the good, I have just a suggestion. We had like a list of categories, or some accompany with the list of it's like do you like to read? No, I don't like to read. Do you like to be outside? Like to be outdoors? Yeah, I noticed I went camping when I was in second grade, and I really liked it. So sometimes it's a good idea to have a good list of categories and a list of ideas.
I think we had on the getting to know you worksheet, you sort of started, but I think.
But it could be like that mood. It could be done like a mood. You ever go to the doctor and say on a scale of 1 to 10, what do you like? Or the faces, the faces forms where it has, it might be something like that, like bicycling, reading, swimming, pictures maybe, or something that would be, that might be a nice aid to go along where you could, to get them to probe, to have a conversation about that was a good point. Some of the things that they might like to do, to have an aid to get them to move into an idea of action. So that's a good point. I appreciate that one. Thank you.
This might also be a place for some brief education that the challenge of doing a wellness plan is part of depression. It's hard when you're depressed, as someone has shared, it's so difficult of thinking about what I might enjoy or to have hope that things could be different. That affects your behavior, and unfortunately, your behavior makes the depression worse. And so it becomes this very vicious cycle, and that's what makes depression such a conundrum.
I thought I saw another hand. Was there another hand?
I was going to make a comment about the reading.
Go ahead.
Oftentimes we're interacting with clients regardless of the age, and they really don't know how to read.
Right.
And you really don't know.
Right.
You really don't. So, because sometimes if you ask them, they'll say, I don't like, but in reality.
Or I didn't bring my glasses.
Yes, they really can't. They really can't.
Exactly.
So,
and it helps
work
too.
Work with them around that to get them to say it's okay and work through that. So
Right, and oftentimes too, when you're depressed, and I don't know, I can't speak for the young lady in the back, but when you read it, your concentration level is very impaired. So even though I may be able to read, I can't digest what I'm just reading. So it does help when someone else is there, and I don't necessarily have to look at the form or process. It's just too much for me at that moment. And as I begin to the medication or exercise, whatever my plan is, the doctor gave a plan. Now it's my turn to develop a plan for myself to start. Not a plan that my case manager did, or a plan that the therapist did, or the plan that, this is a plan that I'm going to come up with small obtainable things, like maybe just cleaning one room. One room at a time might be helpful, instead of jumping around the house,
Can I,
okay, is it time to
jump us to our next scene? We're going to skip over scene 3, which was the team meeting worksheet. What happened in the story is that Jan started to improve. She was taking her medication. She started to get a new confidence and feeling really good. And she also started missing some of her appointments. And then, eventually, she stopped coming altogether. So Craig is keeping track of his clients, and he gets together collectively with his colleagues, and they talk about what's going on, and sort of go through some ideas. What happened the last time you saw her? Have you tried this? Have you tried that? The purpose of this sheet is just to keep track of everybody. It's your list when you sit down in your group and take notes. That's the purpose. So Craig takes some ideas from that group meeting. He gets in touch with Janet. She comes in, and he assesses her. What we want to make sure we cover today, because this is one of our most favorite sheets, is the vital sign worksheet. This is a visual for not only for Craig, but it's going to be a visual for Janet. It's going to be a visual to sort of chart. It's like, have you ever seen on a medical record where you chart vital signs, the temperature, the pulse, the blood pressure, and you can see the trends? This is a trend sheet. So he can see, oh wow, she's complying with her medications, she's going to therapy, her PHQ score is looking better, oh she's dropped off taking her medications, her PHQ score is going down. So this scene opens up with Janet and Craig, and he's going to tell her show her the visual or the biofilm worksheet after he's reassessed her PHQ-9. So we'll start with that. You've reassessed the PHQ-9.
So I've been missing some appointments and
You've
stuff
missed,
like that.
and then you guys connected on the phone.
And we're back.
And,
Right.
and she's agreed to come in and just talk.
Right, so we're talking.
And now he's assessed your PHQ-9
So you can
score,
see
and
why
he's
I'm
ready to
missing
show
improvements.
this.
Hey, welcome back, stranger.
How you doing?
Oh, it's been a long time no see. Where you been?
Oh, everything's been great. I've been doing, I've been working and taking care. I've been feeling really good. I've been feeling really good.
How come you haven't been coming in?
Because I really don't know that. I don't really think I need it that much anymore.
Okay. Have you been taking your medicine?
Sometimes. Not as much as I used to.
Come on now. How's your drinking?
Actually, I stopped drinking. I stopped drinking. I started going to some other groups.
Good.
So I stopped drinking.
All right. How's your sleep?
Sleeping's good.
Sleeping's good. I want to share something with you. If you notice when you came in, you were here. You started at a 24, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then 2 weeks later, you were feeling a little better. You were still high, but you were moving up.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? 3 weeks later, you were all the way down to moderate depression. 2 weeks after that, you were down registering in the minimal depression. Good job. But then you quit taking your medicine, and you quit coming, and you started going back, creeping back up again.
Oh.
So I want you to be aware of that, because we want you. I mean, I want you to look at this.
So am I gonna have to do this forever? I mean, is it ever gonna stop?
You don't ever have to do anything forever, but we gotta get you well. Okay? Hasn't even been 6 months yet, and you can see how much progress you've made. But then you started feeling better, because when we start feeling better, we don't need it anymore. You started feeling down again.
I think I started. Yeah, I stopped doing a lot of the things that I was doing. I did stop doing some of the things that was making. 'Cause I remember that date. I remember when I came in that time. I was feeling really good that day. Yeah, I don't want to get back to. I don't want to go back here.
You don't want to go back here.
I never want to go back there. So what do I got to do though?
Well, we got to get back to your personal wellness plan. I need you to make sure that you're still doing those sorts of things. Making sure you reach out to your groups, your friends, do your exercise. Make sure you have time for me. I need you to make sure that you talk to the doctor and discuss whether or not medication is still the best option for you. And if it is,
So because sometimes right now, really honest to goodness, I don't feel like I need that medication no more.
I know. But that's something that I want you two to talk about. Okay? I want you two to talk about. Because maybe that's you'll come to the conclusion.
Can they lower it or something?
You talk. Where's your little book?
Oh, I forgot it.
Okay. So we got 3 questions. We're going to write down on this piece of paper for you, and I want you to ask the doctor about it. Okay? So those are the things that you need to sort of do to get back to feeling good. Okay?
One of the things that I like about this form, and if you work in recovery or if you're working around, like a population is moving around or not, this really helps the person be able to visually see how they're doing. Like if you put the date at the top, when they came in, how they were doing on that PHQ-9, or even you have notes and you wrote down, like, depending on your style, so you were really high. And I remember one thing that you did that day, or you've been doing, and then I noticed that you stopped doing these things. Like you stopped doing your affirmation in the morning. You stopped, you can show them where they started to decline. And then they can say, oh, you know what, maybe I need to start going back and listening to my morning songs again. Or maybe I need to you can help them identify again where they start, because most people that start medication or in recovery, they go full force because they're right here, right in the midst of it. And they start out, and you see people going to meetings all the time, or they're coming to see you all the time. Then all of a sudden, when they are at their best again, they don't need you anymore. And then that's when they stop going, and they go back down, and then you see them again, because they're back at 0.0 again. And then you got to chart back up this. What you want to do is you want to catch them somewhere in midstream before they hit the bottom. This chart helps you chart them and help them see where they're going. So that's the wonderful thing about this. I really like this one. I don't know if you guys like it, but so just to ask you, do you think you could use something like that? Yes?
That way, that the person will know, like you started here, you were doing this, and they could see it in paper.
Right.
Like something that, they could see.
Exactly.
They say, oh, wait a minute, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe they pick up and start doing the stuff that they were doing. So, because I guess, nobody wants to be depressed.
Nobody wants to be depressed. We thank you for coming to our workshop.